Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the moon in the third house. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So before we start, you first want to understand what sign is the moon positioned in. This is going to make a huge difference because the moon is highly changeable and adaptable. It will take on the qualities of the sign that he is placed in. Along with this, you want to understand, are there any planets conjunct with the moon or aspecting to the moon? Along with this, you want to see if the moon is more of a bright moon or a darker moon. So is it more towards a full moon or a new moon? This will also indicate the strength of the moon. Along with this, the most important moment where the moon becomes activated in your chart is during a moon Mahadasha. So if you have not seen my video on the moon Mahadasha Bhuktis, I will leave a link for that above and down below in the description. So what does the moon represent? The moon is a signifactor of the mind. It is all about how we think, how we feel, how we react, how we are adapting and relating to the environment around us. So this is a highly emotional planet in astrology. The moon represents our connection with our mother. It is all about our sense of security and nourishment. The moon is also all about our connection with our home, country, family of origin. And the moon itself is also about our reasoning ability, our memory, our impressions of life. So this also is how we are able to comprehend and to understand through the mind. However, Mercury was that rational, logical intelligence, where the moon is more emotional and intuitive. So what does the third house represent? The third house is a house of your early upbringing. It is all about your connection with your siblings, neighbors, close relatives, close friends. This is a house of communication. It is how you are getting your message across, how you're putting yourself out into the world. It is a house where you exert your energy, where you put your efforts forth. It is all about your initiative in life, your courage to start, to put yourself out into the world. It's all about your skills, your talents that you're able to put to use. The third house deals with journalism, media, all forms of communication, including writing. So this is definitely a huge house that deals with all of the skills and talents that you have, including sporting activities, creative abilities, and anything where you are making use of your hands. The third house is also a house of competition. It is where you are able to stand up for yourself, where you're able to take the initiative, to have the courage to take risk in this area. So what happens then when the moon comes into the third house? Well, this is a very interesting position because the moon is originally related to the fourth house, and the moon is now behind the fourth house. It is 12th from that original home of the moon. So in some ways, the moon is very uncomfortable to be here in this third house. This is also a very benevolent and gentle planet in this very challenging and competitive house, a house where you have to assert your will, where you have to put your efforts forward. So the moon is not completely comfortable here, especially on an emotional level. This can be a very difficult position mentally speaking, and especially if the moon is afflicted in your chart, then this can create a lot of restlessness in the mind, a lot of difficulty with relaxing and being able to concentrate. This can pull you into many different directions. Moon in the third house definitely makes you someone who is multi-talented, multifaceted. This is definitely going to get you interested in a variety of subjects and interests. This can scatter your focus into many areas, and this can make you talented in many ways as well. This is an excellent position for an entrepreneur, for an artist, for anyone who is using your skills and talents and putting it to use. The moon here definitely likes new experiences, new opportunities. So this can be an area where you can get bored easily, where there can be a lot of restlessness. So you need something that keeps you engaged, that keeps you interested in this house. The moon also is related to our speaking ability on some level. So being in this third house of communication can give you excellent communication abilities, especially if the moon is placed well in this chart. You can be an excellent communicator, excellent at really getting your message out into the world, communicating with people, advertising, marketing, promoting yourself with this position can be seen. Definitely this can make you an excellent writer as well, because the moon is connected with the subconscious part of your mind mind. So this takes you into your imagination, and this can make you an excellent storyteller, writer. Anyone with writing ability can be seen with the moon in the third house. If the moon is afflicted in this house, then this can negatively impact your communication skills. You could come across as too harsh, as too brutal in the way that you communicate, or there can be difficulties with others understanding you, or you're on different pages with those who you are connected with. Definitely with the moon here aspecting onto the ninth house, you are very independent. This third house, once again, is all about how you assert your will. So you are someone who is all about doing things in your own way. So this can clash with other people. This can make you very argumentative, very expressive about your feelings and your beliefs. And so you are very much about going your own way, making your own path, doing what is true to you, doing what is in your heart. With the moon in the third house, this can also make you interested in learning and gaining knowledge, and you could be someone who is highly intelligent, highly educated with this position. The moon can disturb your education sometimes, though, because it is aspecting onto that ninth house of higher studies. So particularly in your higher education, there can be a lot of changeability, dropping courses, changing courses in this area, especially if the moon is not well placed in this third house. But in general, this makes you interested in learning and gaining knowledge. And the ninth house being all about religion, philosophy, you can also be drawn to these subjects as well. Sometimes it's good with the moon in the third house to find some way to relax, to find some way that is going to help you to calm your mind down, because there can be a lot of restlessness, a lot of mental activity with this position. And definitely this is going to keep you on the move. You're very hardworking, very engaged, very active person. With the moon here, this can get you interested in wanting to travel and move around. Again, the moon is 12th from the fourth house of the home environment, and also aspecting onto the ninth house of foreign journeys. So you can find yourself wanting to travel, wanting to explore, wanting to try new things with this position. And because the moon is about how you relate with others, it's also having to do with your relationships. So we can actually make a moon chart with the moon itself by putting the moon in the first house, similar to how we can read a chart from the ascendant. So if we're doing that, then we actually are putting the ninth house into the seventh house of relationships, which means that you can be drawn to a partner who's very philosophical, who is very experienced, someone who you want to have higher philosophical discussion with, who you want to talk about religion and belief systems with. This can even sometimes draw you to someone who has a cultural difference, someone coming from a different cultural background or coming from foreign lands can be seen as well. Sometimes if the moon is badly placed in the third house, this can also create difficulties with completing task and responsibility. Again, there's a difficulty with focusing in one area with this position. So this can make you a multitasker. But again, if this is afflicted, then it can create obstacles where you're spreading yourself too thin into different directions and not actually completing anything. So definitely this is a position that can make you very impulsive, very reactive, and very much distracted by different things that are happening around you. This can also give you a strong attachment with your siblings, with your friends, with those who are within your close environment, close relationships. So definitely your siblings become very important to you. You become emotionally attached in this area. And again, if the moon is in a difficult position, then this can create conflicts in the relationship with siblings. But in general, this is going to give a very close connection. Sometimes because the ninth house represents father figures, teachers, mentors, gurus, people who give you advice and guidance, you also can run into conflicts with these people as well, as the path that they are directing you towards may not be aligned with the path that you want to take in life. Again, highly independent position of the moon in the third house. Overall, this is an excellent position for using your skills, using your talents to your ability, and can be very successful in the areas of business and self-employment. But again, you want to find ways to relax the mind, to find that sense of inner peace with the moon here in the third house.